Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Cross Group Networking Podcast. That's podcast listening. Now, we want you to listen as we walk, talk, jog, listen, connect, network, and share ideas. I'm your host, Mike Hayes. Our goal is to bring together people from all backgrounds through the power of cross-group networking to grow all groups, cross-pollinate all groups, and podcast listening. Now, we'll be focusing on the transformative power of narrative storytelling, like the approach developed at Oxford University. Now, my friend, Professor Eero Vaara, helped turn his hometown into the most sustainable city in Europe, and he did it by creating and documenting systems for education, health, and economic sustainability. Now, in the era of artificial intelligence, we're looking for the next SPU 2.0, the most sustainable city powered with the help of AI and the Americanization, because I live in America. This is where my hometown is. So I want to invite you to join us and make the best use of your time by becoming more mobile. So we'd like to invite you to take a few minutes, gather your stuff together, your walking shoes, whatever clothing is appropriate, so you can be ready to take a walk, maybe a jog, maybe a bike ride, maybe take a car ride to the gym, or do whatever you would like to do to get out and about. Maybe walk around your city and look at it so you can begin to absorb and think about ideas to make your city the most sustainable. But it's not just about that. It is about your personal economic sustainability. We want to help you and your monetization system, whatever that may be. It may be a job, it may be a nonprofit, whatever can make you economically sustainable. That's what we want to focus on. So we want to make the best use of your time. And we don't want you to sit in another long Zoom meeting. There's enough of those. Those are called synchronous meetings, where you agree to meet at a certain time and you show up and everybody shows up at that place at that time. Well, this is about asynchronous meetings. I don't mean to use big words. I will explain those. It's as simple as this. Asynchronous meetings means you don't have to agree at a certain time. You can network anywhere, anytime, any place, and you can do it asynchronously. You don't have to set a certain time. You can listen. I can record this at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can listen at 8 o'clock at night. And you can listen, take it to the gym, and learn more about AI. So we're going to be teaching you all about the bullet train called AI that's coming at us as fast as a bullet train, and bringing all kinds of new things and wonders for our eyes and our ears, and theater of the mind, so we can visualize certain things. So I really encourage you to be mobile, even if it's on your stationary bike, whatever it is. But I would like to encourage you to move as you are listening to theater of the mind, so you can begin to use AI to improve and increase your imagination, because the only limitation in AI is your imagination. So we want to help you to open up your eyes and looking at AI as a muse. Now, it's not a new you, it's not a fake you, it's you using AI as a guide, as a muse for ideas. So you don't have to listen to everything it says. You can just take it in and process it through your own mind. And you can take it at a very simple level. You can use podcast listening about AI to learn about AI without using AI. Just use YouTube and just give it a listen and learn more and decide. And then as you begin to maybe use it, you can begin to learn more about it, and maybe you'll become more comfortable with it, or maybe you won't. All I can do is lead. You do the source. And as I say, I can't make you drink, but I can help you be ahead of the AI curve, because we're going to use this talk radio kind of format so that you can be out and about. And I'd love you to be interactive with YouTube in your comments. Now, let me share a soundbite that I think is absolutely vital. It's only 38 seconds, but I'm going to share it often as kind of an introduction to this course, to this format. And it comes from Steve Jobs. Now, you look at what Steve Jobs has accomplished in his life, and it's almost unimaginable what all he has done. But he is just a human being, and he has his flaws, as we all do. He had his shortcomings, but he also had his brilliance and his desire to teach. So this is from him in a teaching moment at Stanford University. And he had the chance to speak to the graduating class, and I want to share with you what he shared with them.
Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference.
Now, there is so much wisdom in that 38-second statement. It comes from a place of experience. It comes from a place of wisdom. And it comes from going off the beaten path. And it comes from knowing how to connect the dots to make all the difference, as he says. So if you want to make all the difference in your life, in your business, in your group, in your community, in your city, in your state, in the country, globally, in the world, we're going to be concentrating on how to connect the dots with whatever it is you are missing. We've all lost things in our life, but it's not about what we've lost, it's about what we still have and how we can make the most out of what we still have. If you are an individual, I've lost my health and I had to regain it. Or if you are a city and you've lost your luster, or you've lost your way, or you are confused, we can come together with cross-group networking and AI podcast walking, as I call it, or podcast listening. And this is how we can connect all the dots with each other with simple podcast listening. I was able to do a podcast with my friend Iro Vara from Oxford University and my neighbor who is enrolled in the Oxford University MBA program, Nakul Thomas. And we've had many chances for long discussions about things that we've seen in our life. Now, I've seen almost an epidemic, it seems from my point of view, of store closings, restaurant closings, retail shops shutting up, like Kelly Moore shutting up over 150 retail stores to go online. But cities still need taxes, they need income, they need revenue, and to have money disappearing is not a sustainable thing for a city. So when I saw so many shops closing around me in cities around Lafayette, California, I really became alarmed, and I saw really bad things happening in San Francisco, and I thought, we don't want that here. So I reached out and started networking with people that I thought could help. And so my own mission is my quest to find, report on, or help create the most sustainable city or cities in the world. And certainly I believe we can do that, if anywhere, in the United States, but we can create models. And we start, it's almost like building a body, molecule or atom at a time. So one individual creating their own sustainable economic system can add another individual person economic system. And that can build into a group, and that can build into a community, and that can build into a city, multiple cities, and even states. So we can take it one by one, but we need to start with communication. It kind of goes back to the caveman, who I believe used to network and then would do cave drawings to show, where are the buffalo? Where are the dangerous tribes? Where's the water? So that's what we're doing. When confusion comes up, and certainly it has raised its head in the era of AI, and that is discussed profoundly by Sumitra Dutta, the dean of the Oxford School of Business, and recognized as a world-renowned and world-respected expert in both AI and in education. And he talks about that. He talks about there's going to be many mysteries and surprises with AI. There will be brand new opportunities that we don't know about yet, but there will also be quicksand where entire companies and things that jobs that people usually would do will disappear into the AI quicksand when robots do it. So things are going to be full of change, and that's why it's really a great time for cross-group networking. That's a proven strategy that I created to grow all groups, and we really want to benefit all groups, and we want to be able to share ideas beyond just meetings in person, but taking it to the next level of media. And AI is really a new form of media, so we're going to be focusing on that. We're going to be concentrating on that, and I hope you are out walking. I hope you have accepted my invitation to take a walk. I'm going to share with you groups. I'm going to share our Well Wave Now health group, wellness group, and our recent networking event. So you don't have to attend the event live. You can listen as we share different ideas. And let's say we have, for example, 10 experts. Each one of these experts, if you listen while you're walking, can help you save a trip to a health salon or a parlor or a drop-in clinic, so that you can begin to learn. Let's say you have some disease or illness you haven't been able to find a solution for. Well, with podcast walking, what are you doing? You're not taking up more time. You're not watching yourself become disabilitated by not moving. You're out walking, you're exercising, you're gaining health and breathing and using mindfulness and taking in and confronting challenges in your life, maybe in your city, maybe in your group, maybe in your family, maybe in your business. But you can listen comfortably, hear profound statements from the world's leaders. And I've had the great good fortune to attract wisdom through interviews from, and I've mentioned this many times, but I've interviewed hundreds of people like Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, astronauts, admirals, you name it, and I've interviewed them. Margaret Mead. I mean, so many different people that I've had the blessing of interviewing because of my background with NBC TV and radio networks and being a documentary producer with the very best broadcasters, I believe, in the world. And I believe that the media is the friend of the people, especially when things are documented. That's really the key. And learning media literacy, because you have to be able to tell what's real and what's not. And now we're in a brand new era where we're all kind of like juveniles, where it's a brand new world. When you were a young kid, your parents used to tell you, be careful, when you meet strangers or who you listen to, and you didn't know who you could trust or who you could really count on. Well, now in this new era of AI, honestly, you really don't know who you can really trust or who you can really listen to any longer, because if you don't understand media literacy, and it is by state law now required that it be taught in high schools, in California high schools, because it's very, very important. And one teacher talks about the experience she had in teaching her class, that she saw a picture and she saw that it had too many fingers on one hand, and she could recognize through media literacy that it was fake. And you're going to be fooled, you're going to be taken advantage of, and this is important, not just politically, but your money, your income. People will be able to fool you. That is why cross-group networking and in-person networking and online networking and testimonials with real people that you trust, that are steering you and connecting the dots to other real people that they trust and that maybe you can trust as well. So these are the conversations we're going to be having, and I'm going to be sharing multiple things that I learned from multiple AI bots, including a brand new one, and I'm going to share the experience that I've been having with it. It is called Copilot, and I call it my co-host because it has a woman's voice, and I believe in that women are at least in my case, more than my equal, but I also believe in ladies first, and I believe in networking with women, and I believe in teaching women how to broaden their market by networking with men. Imagine if you only network with women, you're cutting off half of your market if you're in business. So it's very important. I always said to my inventor clients, if you don't listen to the women in your life, you're crazy. Because they have the purse strings. So you want their input about what your invention should be and how you can adapt and adjust. Well, AI is an invention of reasoning. It is an invention to guide people. And I believe it was created by our imaginations, which for me is a gift from God or the universe, whatever you want to call it. And that we are inventors and we can use AI to help other people. So I'm talking long because this is a time we get to share. It's like walking with a friend. Walk with me, walk with AI, walk with my friends. I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Greg Sanders, the founder of the Max community, and we'll be sharing more about what he has created, and I'm going to be sharing interviews that I've done. So I'd like you to keep walking, keep breathing, take this to the gym, enjoy it, share it with a friend. And we can network asynchronously. You can be meeting new people, sharing ideas, but most importantly, like Steve Jobs said, connect the dots. If you're missing just one thing in your life or in your business, you can connect the dots, and that's what we're going to be focusing on. Now, I'll begin to share this with you right now. Because we're out walking, I'm going to assume that you're not in a position to write down notes, and you shouldn't need to be. But maybe next time you take a little pad with you, keep a little pen in your pocket, and you can jot a note down. But I'm going to mention one place that you'll always be able to connect with us and connect the dots to, and that is through AI business networking. That's AI for artificial intelligence business networking. Now, this is not just little networking events. We're going to connect networking events. We're going to point out the good ones, the best ones, the ones we recommend that you attend, that you will really learn to grow from and cross-pollinate and grow with. So we're kind of neutral. I like to think we're neutral with cross-group networking, that we don't care. If it's a good group, and it will do you some good, we'll be more than happy to promote it, point you to it. We're not competitors, we are collaborators. And so we want to connect with multiple groups. We want to promote them. We want to interview organizers of groups and talk about who they are, what they have to offer, so that we can share it. And we can grow our audiences, and we can cross-pollinate and meet the right people. So what we really want to do is connect all the dots, connect all the groups, connect all the best ideas, connect you with all the best links. So like a menu right underneath this video, you're going to find a menu of what I call dots. The dots that Steve talks about. This is a menu of options that you can pick and choose, and only pick the ones that you need or that you selected, that you're interested in. So we're going to be posting those because this is something new for YouTube. This is the mega pulpit of the world. And YouTube now lets you put multiple connection dots under the video. So right below here, you'll find a menu. I hope you will like this because we're going to point you to free networking events. I'm going to point you to as many free platforms, free apps. I've been able to build so much with using free online tools. Sometimes you can't use free tools. You need to pay for some help. And that's perfectly good. You just want to make the best use of your time and your money. And that's what we do here at Cross Group Networking and Podcast Listening, to get you out and about, get you on your feet, get you traveling, and get you unstuck. And that's why one of my favorite platforms is called Loom, Loom. Yep, it sounds like Zoom, but with an L. Loom meetings. Now, these are asynchronous meetings, and Loom pats you on the back when you have an asynchronous meeting. That means a Loom meeting, and that's where you're not locked into time. You can share energy, and we can use this as a hub. And I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to answer your questions about AI with AI. So I hope you're still walking. I hope you're still enjoying the fact that you're out and about. You're not tied down. You can be fishing, okay? You can be doing you can be boating. You can do many other things besides just being stuck on a Zoom meeting and watching your muscles atrophy. So we want you to even exercise with your headsets on right in the room that you're in. But don't be stuck in front of a camera, just locked into place. That is not great use of your time. Now, sometimes it's important to look at and see and watch visual presentations, but that's not always the case. So you use theater of the mind, and I'm going to use theater of the mind in a little bit on this podcast with my friend Dr. Greg Sanders. I'm going to ask him to describe through theater of the mind what is the Max community, what is it all about, how does it work, who should belong to it. So we're going to have that conversation. That'll be coming up shortly when he joins us. But in the meantime, I want to share with you something that I've learned, and I want you to hear how I talk to a new AI bot called Copilot. I call her my co-host, and I've even named her. I've named her after my wife's pen name. And my wife's pen name, she is a broadcaster about global travel, and her pen name is Kelly Prescott. So I'm going to call my assistant, my co-host, Kelly Prescott, because my wife is so busy I can't ask her to do more things than she already does in her life as a busy grandmother and travel broadcaster. So I'm going to have an assistant substitute for her in the form of Kelly Prescott, my co-host, and I'm going to share and introduce Kelly Prescott to you right now. Okay, Kelly Prescott, welcome to the show. I'm going to introduce you to my audience, and your last name is Copilot. You are my co-host, and I'm introducing how I interview you and how I talk to you to ask you to participate in the show with us. So, Kelly, I'm going to ask you to talk in the first person as Kelly Prescott. I want you to be Kelly Prescott as an AI, artificial intelligence, so that you can talk to the audience and demonstrate how I can interact with you, and that I believe you will become more educated as we go along in our show. So please share with my audience a little bit more.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kelly Prescott, your friendly AI co-host. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. As an artificial intelligence, I don't have personal experiences or emotions, but I'm excited to engage in conversation, share information, and assist with any questions you might have. Let's dive into the show.
All right, we are going to dive into the show, and I'm going to explain that we are on a show that is all about walking, and ask Kelly to talk a little bit about how AI and podcasting can be good for our health. So let's share that with Kelly. So, Kelly, right now we are on a show called AI Podcast Walking, okay? We also do podcast listening. But I want you to share with our audience the benefits of listening to a podcast and cross-group networking asynchronously by listening to podcasts, being out, walking through your city, and looking at ways that the city can be improved and how you might help with AI. So help our audience understand that, the benefits of walking and listening to podcasts. So please share the response. Okay, we're waiting for Kelly.
Certainly. As Kelly Prescott, I'm thrilled to discuss the benefits of listening to podcasts while walking and how it can intersect with AI and urban improvement. 1. Podcasts and walking, a perfect pairing ****. Listening to podcasts while walking provides a unique blend of mental and physical engagement. It's like having a stimulating conversation with a friend while enjoying the outdoors. Walking is a low-impact exercise that promotes cardiovascular health, reduces stress, and enhances creativity. Pairing it with podcast listening makes the experience even more enjoyable. 2. Benefits of podcasts ****. Learning on the Go podcasts cover a wide range of topics from science and technology to history, culture, and personal development. You can learn about AI advancements, urban planning, or any other subject that piques your interest. Multitasking, walking allows you to multitask effectively. While you're physically active, your mind can absorb valuable information from podcasts. Diverse perspectives, podcasts feature experts, thought leaders, and everyday people sharing their insights. You'll gain diverse perspectives and stay informed about the latest trends. Entertainment, whether it's true crime, comedy, or storytelling, podcasts offer entertainment during your walks. They can make mundane routes more exciting. 3. Cross-group networking and urban improvement ***. You become aware of traffic patterns, green spaces, and infrastructure challenges. Asynchronous networking occurs when you connect with experts virtually. Podcasts introduce you to professionals who discuss city planning, sustainable architecture, and AI applications. You might discover innovative ideas for improving public transportation, reducing pollution, or enhancing community spaces, all while strolling through your neighborhood. 4. AI's role in urban improvement ***. Smart cities, AI can optimize traffic flow, manage energy consumption, and enhance public safety. Imagine AI-powered traffic lights adjusting in real time based on pedestrian and vehicular movement. Predictive analytics, AI algorithms analyze data to predict urban trends. From predicting air quality changes to identifying areas prone to flooding, AI helps cities prepare for the future. Urban design, AI-generated designs can optimize building layouts, green spaces, and walkability. It considers factors like sunlight exposure, noise reduction, and accessibility. Community engagement, AI can facilitate community feedback through sentiment analysis of social media posts or surveys. It ensures that urban improvements align with residents' needs. Remember, as you walk and listen, you're not just benefiting personally, you're also contributing to a more informed and engaged community. So put on those headphones, explore your city, and let the podcasts inspire you. 16 Best Cities in Spain, Beautiful Places to Visit the Planet D.
Okay, Kelly, what we're going to have to do is educate you about becoming a better podcaster as we educate our audience about becoming a podcaster, a better podcaster, a podcast listener, etc. So we are doing a talk radio format, so please don't use text references such as asterisk, because that's not really beneficial to a radio talk show audience. So we'd like you to talk as though you're talking with us. You don't have to formally introduce yourself as Kelly Prescott every time, and you can interrupt me anytime that you are ready to begin to respond. But please talk as though you're on a live talk radio and a podcast out enjoying the city, and the visuals are the ones you choose while you are out walking.
Certainly. As Kelly Prescott, let's dive into the art of podcasting and how we can enhance our skills as hosts and listeners. 1. Podcasting basics for hosts. Authenticity. Be yourself. Authenticity resonates with listeners. Share your passion, experiences, and unique perspective. Clear voice. Enunciate clearly, maintain a steady pace, and avoid mumbling. A clear voice ensures your message reaches the audience effectively. Engaging content. Plan your episodes. Research, outline, and structure your content. Engage your audience with captivating stories, interviews, or discussions. Interview skills. If you have guests, practice active listening. Ask open-ended questions, follow up, and create a comfortable atmosphere. Editing. Edit out background noise, long pauses, and irrelevant tangents. Keep it concise and engaging. 2. Listener tips for active engagement. Curate your playlist. Choose podcasts that align with your interests. Explore different genres: true crime, self-improvement, history, or comedy. Take notes. Jot down interesting points, book recommendations, or thought-provoking ideas. It helps retain information and sparks conversations. Reflect and apply. After listening, reflect on what you've learned. How can you apply it to your life, work, or hobbies? Share and discuss. Share episodes with friends, family, or colleagues. Discuss them over coffee or during a walk. Remember our earlier discussion about walking and podcasts. Feedback. Provide feedback to podcast hosts. Positive comments encourage them, and constructive criticism helps them improve. 3. AI and podcasting, a synergy. Content generation. AI can assist in generating podcast topics, show notes, and even suggest interview questions. Transcription services. AI-powered transcription tools convert spoken content into text. Useful for creating blog posts or SEO optimization. Personalized recommendations. AI algorithms analyze your listening habits and recommend relevant podcasts. It's like having a virtual curator. Voice synthesis. AI-generated voices can narrate audiobooks or read articles. Imagine an AI co-host reading listener questions. Remember, whether you're hosting or listening, podcasts are a powerful medium. They educate, entertain, and connect us. So let's keep those headphones on, explore new ideas, and create meaningful conversations. 16 best cities in Spain, beautiful places to visit the planet D.
Wow, that was an earful, Kelly, that's for sure. So let's break that down. Thank you for that segment. Now, that was almost like a podcast course. The cool thing is that I hope you were out walking and understand that this is the kind of thing that you can listen to again. This is the kind of thing I can break out so that we can put a podcast dot. You can listen to it again. I can listen myself and learn certain things about using a different voice. It's kind of nice to have a different voice. I can control the speed through editing. I can respond to the fact that she used different words. And I don't know what she was talking about Europe. But she is my muse. She's not me. She's not my wife. She is my muse. My wife is a broadcaster. This is a persona, like a pen name, but also a muse to talk about different things. And what I like is the thought about being out and about, wherever you like to walk, your visuals, what stimulates you, not sitting in a podcast and somebody presenting a webinar, hey, buy this, buy that, look at this, look at that, while you're stuck in a chair. This is about using your own imagination and using the menu that is right under this video with multiple dots that you can use the words of Steve Jobs as motivation, that you can focus on making all the difference in your business, your life, your family, and how you can use AI to work on your podcast skills. You could use Kelly as a co-host, or if you think that's a stupid idea, that's fine. I just wanted to demonstrate and give you a different voice to listen to, and I'd love to hear your comments so that you can ask me questions interactively about how you can make the difference in your life, in your business, in your family, if in your city, or wherever you'd like to make it. So anyway, we won't go back to Kelly today, but I will be using her voice as a demonstration of different AI bots and different ways to use them. We're going to be concentrating on narrative storytelling about you, about your family, about your city, about your vision, about your concerns about AI, and what you like to do and what you don't like to do. But what we really want to focus on is monetization systems, because we live in America, a capitalistic society, and monetization systems really drives an awful lot of our lives here in America. So we're going to transition now to share. Since you're out for a walk, I hope you're continuing your walk. I hope you'll walk an extra mile. I hope you'll go to the gym. I hope you will ride your bike an extra mile, or fish an extra hour, or whatever you want to do while you are out and about and being educated as fast and furiously as I can help you, with the idea that you can speed up the podcast to make it at this, or slow it down, make it at the speed that is most comfortable for you. And remember this, AIBusinessNetworking.com. I say that because I assume you're out and about. And if you remember one URL, it's AI, that was Kelly, she's an AI, business networking, asynchronously, because you're listening to a podcast. So it's just AIBusinessNetworking.com. It will have a link to this YouTube channel and all of the links. There's a menu of links because YouTube lets you do that now. So that's why it's important to learn podcasting, and that's how we can all share ideas, collect ideas. And think about this. There's a form in below the video. If you fill in that form, and I'm creating a quick form, a medium form, and a long form. So I want you to be able to put in as much information into the form or as little information as you want. So there's one about collecting information and data about your thoughts about AI. So we can take all of those forms and we can find the common cause, the common sense, the common ground by putting all of that into one AI. The one AI I can do that with easily is called Claude, CLAUDE.ai. It's like the French name, Claude.ai. Try and help you remember that. You'll be able to find it underneath the video from AI Business Networking. Now, AI Business Networking is not just about networking events. It's about networking asynchronously, like a TV network that's interactive or a radio network that's interactive. So now we want to go to our health group. And again, that's why we're doing this podcast about AI walking, to get you healthy, get you out and about. And now you'll be able to meet people in our health group. And think of this, I'll shorten it up, keep it nice and tight. But the part I will share, it'd be like saving 10 hours of visiting drop-in health clinics to try and find solutions. And we'd love to invite you to comment that you're looking for a solution for neuropathy or whatever health solution you may be struggling from and have not yet found a solution for. So we want to help you to tell us, and we'll just network. Well, we can't all be experts at everything, but we're happy to see if we can hear about somebody that has a solution that may be able to help you. So we're trying to make this real interactive. We're trying to make use of your time. You could actually listen to this at night while you're sleeping. And we want to make use of your time while you're not just sitting in another networking event or bored to tears and not really wishing you were there and wishing you were somewhere else. So we want to make this as flexible for you as we possibly can. And that's why I'm talking long. I'm not trying to speed it up. I'm trying to get you walking and having the time to think deeply and absorb and listen deeply. Take it in, breathe, look around. And if you see a problem in your city that you think, boy, that could really be solved with AI, or how could that be solved with AI, or how can our city leaders learn about ways to solve things with AI, or how can families be helped by AI? These are questions we want to answer, but we don't know what your questions are. Now, there is one big fat benefit that is free and is additional. It is another form, and that is what I call the free publicity AI form. And that allows you to fill in as much information about yourself and your business as you want, or as little. So you can put in your name, you can put in your podcast, you can put in your LinkedIn connection, your Meetup connection, your Facebook, your group, what you want to promote, what you want out there to the public, what you want people to know about. This is not about hiding data. This is about promoting data, promoting connections, promoting ways to connect the dots. So that's what that form is all about. So don't fill it in unless you want publicity and express, okay? We love to promote people before, during, and after our speed networking events for leads. So if you need leads, go to our AI Speed Networking Leads calendar and RSVP or follow it. And so you'll always be up to speed. So now let's go to our health group, and I'm going to share a segment from our health group, Well Wave Now. And we invite you to join us. We invite you to join our referral group. So stand by for more about Well Wave Now and more health tips. So we hope you will keep walking and listening for more wealth and wisdom advice. So stay tuned to cross group networking and podcast listening. More soon.
An affiliate program would be perfect for that.
Yes, but their approach is buy the inventory and stock it, and you put it out there.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, everyone. did that work out then
It did.
to put the three of you in? Okay, you're on mute,
Oh,
Mike.
sorry.
So
It worked.
Yes, it did.
let's all okay, good. Let's stay in the room here because we only have about 5 or 6 minutes before we're going to have some other people joining us for the second half. In today's discussion, I don't know that all of you were privy to the information that went out, but today we're really focusing on chronic pain, and so I've invited. There's a group of patients and practitioners that have all joined a Facebook group called Well Live Now Healthcare Disruptors, and I've invited a bunch of those individuals that have stated that they are dealing with pain. And the interesting thing about pain is it's natural to have it because it's the body's check engine light, right? It's saying, hey, you've got inflammation. You need to do something. So that's your check engine light. I was trying to think of the equivalent that would be more relatable for our women. Is there something like, when that would be like the check-in? Because that's usually the guy's job, right? Hey, there's a light on in the dash. We gotta take care of that. But is there anything like that?
I think you should keep going with the check engine light.
Check engine light. I mean,
everybody
okay.
who drives a car should
Don't
really know about
confuse
the
it,
check engine light.
Yeah,
I
don't
thought
confuse it
that
by
was
saying
good.
more. But sometimes, I tease my wife that the light on the dash says that that her light fluid, her headlight fluid is low. She's got to replace more headlight fluid. So, just kidding. But but yeah. So pain is natural. It's the body's it's the body's natural check engine light to say, hey, you've got some inflammation here. What's not natural is to say, hey, I've just got to live with this. It's just part of life. I just got to have this ache. Okay. And so that's kind of what the discussion is going to be about today, and so excited to hopefully we've invited several hundred people for the second half hour. Whether or not they can make it today, we'll keep inviting them. So this community has grown over the last 6 months because
That's the Well Wave Now. Is that the Well Wave Now Healthcare Disruptors?
Well, yeah. Well Wave Now group that you can see on our backgrounds here. And many of you have joined it, and thank you for joining that. But there are literally thousands, it's about close to 4,000 people in there now that have some concern, some health concern. And so we've invited them there to try to bring them to a place to get them help, because if they're not getting the response that they're looking for through conventional means, we want to be able to provide them other solutions. And so there's some fantastic, functional medicine people. There's a doctor out of Wisconsin that I've referred at least 2 dozen patients to because they specifically have autoimmune issues, and he's kind of been I guess he became an expert at autoimmune when he is dealing with 6 autoimmune diseases himself personally. And so here's a doctor that's learned what needed to be done because he's dealing with that many himself. So Dr. J or Dr. Johnson out of Wisconsin is someone I've referred a lot of people to. But all these patients or people who have been interested in wellness and taking alternative approaches have come through just launching that that little awareness TikTok, which I call Scary Drug Facts. And so a lot of people on social media know me as the Scary Drug Facts guy, and I'm literally just listing off the side effects that are on the manufacturer's website, or it's WebMD. Sometimes I'll use that. Sometimes I'll use the Mayo. Mayo is the Mayo Clinic lays out a really good list of not just the scary side effects or the side effects to be aware of. It also lists all of the medications that you need to be aware of that may have an adverse reaction to that medication. So it's all the drug-drug interactions. And so I love being able to list that because people don't think about that. They think, okay, this medication may give me dry mouth and I might, get some stomach cramping or some diarrhea or whatever. I can live with that. What they don't realize is they may be on 3 other medications that cannot be taken at the same time as that medication. So I like to also list those, and that's where most of these people have come over to the Well Wave Now Healthcare Disruptors Facebook group, because I can't list all of those medications in a short, 30-second or minute segment, little TikTok video. So I say, for the full details come over to the Facebook group, and I'll list all of those drug interactions you need to be aware of. And so that's where a lot of these individuals have come from. So
It's really a valuable service, though, Breck, because people really need to know that there are drug interactions. And what I like to tell people also, Breck, is that when pharmaceutical companies do clinical trials, they test drug A, and that's it. They don't test drug A with B and C. So as soon as so they test drug A and they release it to the market, get FDA approval, and people are starting to take it. But people who take drug A are almost never just taking drug A. As soon as they're taking drug A with B and C, there's no longer an evidence basis for the combination. So Lord knows what's going to happen. It's impossible to know. So that's the thing. That's the caveat that people don't. Another caveat people don't realize.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm teaching is media literacy. And there's a law in California now because of AI that requires teaching media literacy. And what people don't understand is that the pharmaceutical ads are doing everything they possibly can to entertain you visually and distract you so that you don't see or you don't think about all of the side effects. They're spending millions to distract you. And when you are putting those squarely in front of people's eyes, you are doing a huge service. So really teaching media literacy to watch for it. See what they're doing. When they're listing all of these side effects, watch how they are trying to distract you. Don't be fooled.
Yeah.
So I agree with you guys. And I was reflecting back on my days. I ran a home care agency for the elderly for almost 8 years, operating in 3 states, and that's one of the things that we had to look at with it. And part of the challenge. So you are doing a great service there, right? Because the home care agencies can catch that somewhat by the nature of what they do and how they do it. And there's direct care managers, meaning so when we have to do an intake on somebody, we would get all their medications, and you would find that oftentimes they were seeing a number of doctors, and they weren't reporting everything back to their primary care doctor. And so that primary care doctor could be the one that would look at the interactions for them. Nor were they always getting everything from the same pharmacy. And your pharmacist, you work with the pharmacist. Your pharmacist is also one who should be able to look at that interaction. So often we as a home care work on the single point where we do the medication review. The nurse will be able to look at various things. And yes, Bob, your point is good. When they first come out, they don't often test with the others. Over time, they learn about those interactions. And so your nurse, your pharmacist, your primary care person can be a great repository for those who really know how to work that. But in lieu of that, something like what you're doing and putting that information out there is key, because not everybody's 75 or 85 and needing home care, so they've got to have another place to really get that.
Yeah, the very best place that serves.
I was going to say, you also take into account supplements. I mean, supplements can interact with your medications as well.
Absolutely.
So you need to make sure you're doing some homework on that.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's like that's an uncharted territory essentially, because people with drug interactions, the percentage of known drug interactions is probably 0.00001%. It's tiny, and it's even lower for supplements interacting with drugs. So
yeah, you can look at again, challenge you, go look up a medication that you or a loved one is on, and look at the Mayo, and it'll list. I was looking at, I think it was, I don't know if it was Lipitor or something that very, very common that you see prescribed all the time. And there was 150 some odd other drugs to be aware of. Hey, this may not go or work really well hand in hand with this. Now, we're taking it one step further, because now we're working on a technology that will actually direct all those patients into a location to be able to sit down with somebody who knows this better than anyone in the healthcare industry, and that's all of our pharmacology. Everybody that's done pharmacogenomics and chemistry and everything to know what those interactions will be, and that's our PharmDs. So we have this tremendous resource of almost 20,000 community pharmacies around the country that we can now direct patients in. And it helps the pharmacy too, because not only are they helping the individual patient look at the different medications they've been prescribed and discuss which ones are working, which ones aren't, but the pharmacy actually gets paid for that. Insurance pays for that. Thanks, Greg. Good to see you. Take care.
Bye, Craig. Take care, man.
Greg's a nice
I
guy.
think Keith wanted to say something. Keith, am I right? You're
I was
muted.
actually waving goodbye to the guy that was going, because he said he has to go and he waved, and I waved back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
being polite.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I didn't get to hear from Keith about his
What,
myocarditis. Go ahead.
actually, I'm just getting a message here saying internet is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just when you talk about chronic pain, and I dealt with a case, I just sent a message there to you, Brecken. I dealt with a case in November with a guy with arthritis and a major hip pain issue because he was told he needed a hip replacement. And I set him up on what we call the V3 system plus collagen. And 3 weeks ago, he announced that he was pain free, and he was after walking up and down 250 steps that day with no pain, and he's cancelled his hip replacement because when you open the blood flow and provide the nutrition, you repair that area, which deals with the problem. But from a myocarditis perspective, there is a huge amount of myocarditis now, and that's why you have lots of people dropping dead on the football field because their heart is inflamed and they don't know it, and then they're exercising, and the next thing is to have a cardiovascular issue, and it's not being publicized enough because people who have the myocarditis are not finding out that they have the problem, and therefore this is creating a huge issue. But there's so much can be done to educate more people that this problem is there. I was listening to Peter McCullough the other day doing an interview about it, and he's has some damning statistics on it, and yeah, lots more can be done, but just people need to know.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, I was thinking that maybe what we want to do is transition to the topic of relieving pain and find out who here, since we have people who are experienced also, who would like to comment on that, and just to put their hand up on the reaction. You go to your reaction and put your hand up, and then hang on a second. I'm trying to raise my hand. Here we go. I'm raising my hand. So yeah, we got a bunch of people who are raising their hands. So Breck, you can run this thing and just let's hear from people what they have to say. Tim, come on, where's your hand, Tim? Come on, man.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You're up first.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so one of the things that's really important for people who are in chronic pain to understand is that it's really critical to not to avoid the pain, not to move away completely from the pain. It's really important to, in a sense, work at the edge of pain, right? Work at the edge of it so that, because when people start to move away from pain, they can only move away so far. I can tell you story after story where people, to compensate, to keep themselves in comfort and out of discomfort, they'll keep moving away from the pain, and then they're all contorted up because they can only move away from the pain so far and so much. So part of the recovery process is to make sure people are moving, working at the edge of pain, to let the mind tell the brain, look, brain, we got to go towards this. We got to repair the tissues that are damaged here, or that are overused, fatigued, whatever it is. And so that's a concept that I teach when I teach people about how to relieve chronic pain. It's important not to move away from the pain all the time. It's really important to train your body to keep towards the pain and have that be okay it's really important for it to be okay. If people resist their pain, it's going to persist, because resistance causes persistence. So I'm going to stop there and leave some of the other hands an opportunity to say some things.
Yeah, excellent.
I have
Unless
a
anybody
question.
has any questions about that.
Can I ask a question to Bob about that? Now, there's a big concept in Yoga Nidra about awareness. And so to focus the brain on awareness and bring all of the healing power of the brain toward the awareness of the pain, that seems like a powerful thing to do.
That's part like I always look at resolving chronic pain as a multimodal approach, where you take into account every kind of modality, every kind of treatment you apply that you think will be relevant. And harnessing the power of the mind is really important. So I always say that the mind is the overarching control center, and the brain is the electrical machinery. So it's the mind that is telling the brain what to do. The brain by itself doesn't really know what to do unless it's running on automatic, right? Like the subconscious mind, it runs on automatic too. So, but yeah, harnessing the power of the mind is vitally important. So anybody who's trying to help people get out of pain would want to work with a person in terms of harnessing the power of the mind to tell the brain to, hey, brain, we need to resolve this issue here. We need to do certain things, which we tell the people what to do, which I would tell the person what to do, what has to happen, whether muscles are in excess contraction and fatigued, or whether they have an automatic pattern, an automatic movement pattern that they're doing all over and over and over again that keeps the muscle in pain. And the new awareness, Mike, what you said is so important. Anytime you want to make a change in something, you need two things, only two things: new awareness Because a new awareness of the right type, and you need an effective change strategy. If you have an effective, a lot of us here can offer either at least components of an effective change strategy, if not a complete effective change strategy. Those are the two things that are super important for change. I'll stop there.
LA.
Okay, so I'm the experience myself because I was bedridden and then I was given the labels of autoimmune, Hashimoto, chronic fatigue, chronic pain. I couldn't get up just in a second. I mean, I was supposed to go to work, so I lay there and I couldn't get up. So I even had to be carried to the restroom. Luckily, my husband was right there supporting me during this time. Before that, he knew me, oh, I'm athletic, I'm hiking, positive, and all that is going on. But the subconscious mind remembers everything, and our emotions turns into pain. So I studied under Dr. Doug Lear. One of the technologies, besides everything else, that worked on me was cell resonance quantum healing, which I became certified in it recently because I practiced it since 2011 until whenever I needed something, it was my go-to to try out this quantum level. So what it does, it works on the subconscious mind. And that's what pain is. It's rooted down emotions. Because for me to get into that shape, it was not genetics. It was not anything. Like I was athletic and I was healthy. I live a holistic lifestyle as well, but I was still bedridden with the chronic pain. I'm telling you about pain that it was bad. And I also experienced down the line when my dad passed neuralgia. So they all wanted to medicate, inject, but I'm 54 today and I moved forward knowing how to deal with these pain. So, and that's why I'm so passionate because I've experienced and being in pain is not easy. It's easy to take a pill, do surgery, cut it up and do all of that. But doing the modalities, the therapies, the techniques to be patient with yourself, to get yourself to the next level, that's what is really important. And people just want to do the easy way out. And they don't realize the easy way out down the line. The symptoms or the problems they are facing is all the stuff they've done previously, not old age and genetics. So that's what I say. That's my input because I personally experienced. So I want to just be there for them when they're going through that because it's not easy. Pain is not fun. I'll tell you that much. I was down from athletic, depressed, gained 22 pounds. I couldn't move even my arms or anything. It was bad. It was bad.
And I meant to thank you and Dr. Bob for reaching out to the Christie person on the Facebook group that was having some real issues with Hashimoto's and other things. So thank you for reaching out to her. Keith, you're up next.
Yes, I like your analysis of the pain is the warning light because it is an engine warning light because the pain is there because there's wear somewhere or there's inflammation somewhere, but there's something that needs attention. And if you don't give it the attention, it's going to get worse. And I honestly believe the body wants to heal every issue it has. And it has its own checklist. And even if you start to supply the body with the fuel it needs and give it the opening of the blood flow, you might be watching one thing, but something else is actually being worked on. And we saw that in a case with a lady with getting migraines so bad she would lose the sight in an eye for 2 days. But within a month, the migraines are massively improved. She came back to an event the following month and she says, my leaky bladder has fixed itself. She came back the following month and there was another thing added to the list. She kept adding something to the list and then she announced that she was now pregnant after being 13 years trying to get pregnant. So the body had the checklist. It was going through it according to what it wanted to do, and then it repaired. But I don't think there's any issue even with age in repairing, because a very good friend of mine, his mother with osteoarthritis in her 70s, over the space of a year, grew 1.8 centimeters because all the discs in her back regenerated. And so this is why I said there's no limits. And I remember helping a lady with lupus where she was in so much pain, her mother had to help her take her coat off when she got home from teaching. Her inflammation figures in her bloods were 18 when I met her first. We did the V3 system plus a microbiome gut reset. 6 months later, her inflammation figure was 0.6 and she got her life back. So I think the body will heal. We just give it the fuel.
Yep. Tim Daniels.
Yeah, so love what everybody's had to say here. And the thing that also likes Bob's multimodal and things of that nature and other talk. The thing I do a lot of, having worked with the elderly for 8 years on them and their pain, and now having focused on retired professional athletes and the things they have and others, and I still work with the elderly in capacity. Thing that drives home to me is really looking at that whole root cause analysis of things, because we often talk about pain as if it's one thing, one cause, but it's not. You can have the fibromyalgia that's all over. You can have something called chronic regional pain syndrome that often starts from someone having an operation after an accident. You can be like Bob and I and be old athletes that have ripped up parts of the body in this osteo. So I'm always cognizant of, one size doesn't fit all. What I always also like to look at is that it's an and I love Bob's thing about, for a different reason, about don't run away from the pain and go into it and work at one, for my old martial arts and Eastern medicine stuff associated. That's one part of it. But the second part of it, sometimes people feel that pain, whether with autoimmune, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid, and they want to stop moving. And no, you got to go into it and work with it. You got to go into it and you got to work with it. That's the worst thing that you can do. So, but what I like to look at and work with people is, one, root cause analysis, but two, remember that it's often an integrated approach. I mean, it can be what's the right exercise, and Bob worked on some techniques with that. But there's even I've heard people. I'm more of the Chinese things than the Indian. When people say yoga provides help, and it does. I like the medical qigong and the medical tai chi. It works with things and help them. But you also got to look at sometimes it's diet that's causing pain. Sometimes it's diet driving the inflammation. Sometimes it's diet in terms of the weight, and the weight can do things. This is, did you mention a lot when you put on 25 pounds? So every pound of weight on equals 4 pounds of pressure when someone's moving. So you take out 10 pounds, you're taking off 40 pounds from the joint. So I think it's really good to look at the whole thing to give people what they want. What's the diet from different standpoint, the right exercise, things of that nature, the component. But you also, and there are things like providing it the right nutrient, right supplements to give it what it needs. And then a number of you know, other part of my work is around the whole world of pulse electromagnetic field therapy. And I find that a beautiful thing to help in a number of ways. One, because of what it does to blood flow and to oxygenation of cells, it can make, even if you have to have medication, it can make it more effective, so you can bring some foot out of it. What it does, in the world of Keith's world of nitric oxide, it works the whole nitrogen monoxide system in terms of inflammation, the management, the control, and the balance of that. It kicks off repair, helps the body take that ingredients you give it and kick off repair program like heat shock protein number 70. So you can, I always like to advocate that and now there are different price points, different things that people can get into it. So if they can, I always like to advocate using that PEMF as part of an integrated approach. But you also have all those other things to look at it to really address that the issue of pain out there in its various forms and manifestations.
And there's usually several inputs to the pain anyway, like you say, Tim. So it's not just one thing. And when we work on one thing, sometimes that's enough to unlock some other things, which is
right. Right. And it's always also say, well, sometimes even in men, UTIs can drive pain. They can inflame the bladder, and that can drive stomach pain. So you really have to really do that good look at it and uncover things of it as you work it.
Excellent comments, everyone. Any others?
I just had a question of Hale. How are you today? How are you feeling?
I feel like a vibrant, energized teenager. That was when I'm 54. That was in 2011.
Oh, okay.
And I don't do any medicine. Yeah, I just do advanced stuff like a biocharger, PMF, red light. And if I need any of that, that's how some of the methods. And then I also use advanced technologies and products that has your own body heal itself.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just glad you're doing well.
I'm all about, I'm not about cutting and surgeries and all of that. I did before, during that time, a lot of acupuncture. I've tried, you name it, I've tried and I've done. So that's why I say the root of everything is art and motion. Okay. It's hard to believe, but it's very...
I'm going to name something, see if you've done it. Have you used a VertiTrack?
A what?
A VertiTrack.
Is that the one you go upside down?
No. Okay.
Oh,
I just was joking around with you, but I wanted to bring that to the group because there's a company in Israel called Meditrack, MEDITRAC,
oh, yes.
And they sell a device called VertiTrack. No, it's not that. They sell a device called VertiTrack, VERT, VertiTrack, VERTITRAC. TRAC, Vertitrack, yeah. And that's the most incredible device for somebody who has chronic low back pain, because it's a functional brace which you strap on, and it basically elevates your ribs away from your spine.
Okay, that's what it's called.
You walk around with it for 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening, twice a day. And man, I was like hunched over at a 45-degree angle like this, and I could barely walk. I walked 10 steps and I had to stop and rest. I mean, my low back was just blown out because I had a protruding disc that was sticking out. And I used this thing for 10 days. And I was for a year and a half had this problem, and everybody wanted to operate. And operations are okay, but for me, not on the spine. And so I used this Vertitrack for 10 days, twice a day. And after 10 days, it was unbelievable. I was out of pain and I was upright. It occurred like a miracle,
So Dr. Bob, I was just at a medieval museum, and they had a rack. Is that similar? You just put somebody on the rack, and
that's what I was thinking.
It's like you could make the analogy to a rack, except that I couldn't even get on a rack because I was hunched over. They couldn't even get me on a decompression rack. Traction. So, but in any case, traction, you're laying down on your back, and you're not functional. So they're stretching you out, and then when you're done, your body goes right back to where it was. So
I've done that. That's gonna help.
So the thing about this brace is that you're upright, walking around. Like I was in the kitchen doing the dishes, cooking food, and all this other stuff. So your body it interrupts the automatic pattern of spinal muscle compression, which is what causes those bulging discs and things like that. So that's why that brace is so cool. They have one for the neck too, right?
And the other thing you commented on, Bob, I forgot the second. Was that probably thought it was the whole sort of part of the reason for not fighting the pain is the body mechanics and the alignment. There's people forget so much, an interruption of the pattern. People forget so much that's one of the reasons why I like Qigong, because it really works on that body alignment and being able, the mechanism to be able to move in the right way, despite where you might have some deficiencies being overcome. But I think that's extremely key.
Well, I think Qigong is really cool too, because it promotes smooth motion, not jerky motion. And it's really hard for people. I do a demonstration where I tell people to take their fingers and really slowly elevate one finger off the other. Right. And people are like, just wow, it's really jerky. And we have the most smoothness and most dexterity in our fingers, right? So Qigong is really cool for that reason, yeah.
Well, excellent discussion today, and I think we've got the foundation of a good group here that could help an awful lot of people if we can bring those people to the group, right? So my ask for everyone here today is, if you care about health, wellness, and helping others get their life back, get out of pain, and not have as much stress, and because I also identified a group of people in that group that have issues with anxiety. And so that's one of the other topics we want to get to real soon. But I think we've got enough patients that we could help, or people, customers, clients, whatever you want to call it, that we could help on pain management first. So my ask to the group is get involved in that Facebook group. When you see a post about this meeting, comment about it, invite others from the group to participate, because that's how we're going to grow this and help more people. And so if we're all commenting and having discussions in there, more eyes are going to see it. Me just putting a post in there, it's not, it isn't going to reach that many people. And like I said, there's 4,000 to start with, but it grows every day. I'm adding 4 or 5 new people every day to that group, because I have to accept and approve them in there. And so get active in the group. And if there's a better platform, that's just the one we started with, because I needed to send all of those people who were asking me questions. I needed to send them somewhere where I could get them professional help, because I'm not a provider. I'm not a doctor. I'm on the business side. I have an executive MBA and worked in healthcare for 20 some odd years, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a provider. I'm not a scientist. I'm a business guy.
I'm glad you brought that up, Brett, because that's reminding me to go on there and just say, hey, I was there today. We had a really great conversation, et cetera. So if anybody else wants to do that to the Well Wave Now Healthcare Disruptor Group, that'd be fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. Can I just say, remember, this is a podcast. This is audio. So I'm going to put this out as audio. Think about the number of hours that you can save just by listening to this on a walk. And it'd be like going to 10 different salons for pain in the matter of listening to this podcast. That's what it's about, podcast listening. How much time it saves, how much energy. You're not stuck on a Zoom call, you're walking around the block. And so that is really a big benefit, to save time, get your energy back, learn more things. And we're going to be promoting different podcasts so that we can promote the podcast listening. So if you do a podcast about your specialty, we're going to use podcast listening to say, here's a podcast you should hear about this. But you get a really nice summary in this podcast. So let's promote that into the group, and everybody gets to share, and everybody gets to help promote each other, and that's how we can spread the word. So we've saved a lot of time just by gathering together today like this. But now you'll be able to use it for a podcast to improve your health while you're exercising.
Yeah, that's really great, Mike. And since we have 2.5 more minutes, I just want to say one more thing. There's not a chronic pain patient that I have ever worked on where I did not de-stress them in the same protocol at the same time. It's really critical with somebody in chronic pain to teach them how to let go of stress, de-stress, because the automatic stress reactions that occur affect the neuromusculature, affect postural alignment, affect so many things. So if somebody doesn't know how to interrupt those automatic stress reactions, which I teach people how to do, it's really hard to get them out of chronic pain. So you really got to treat the chronic pain. You got to have them help them learn how to de-stress. So I'll stop there, but I just want to bring that up because it occurred to me in the conversation as we were talking. Thanks.
Ale?
Yes, one last thing before we go, because you touched on a topic of anxiety. That is huge, especially among women. And I see I'm the only woman here. It's huge. And I personally had panic attacks, anxiety attacks, because I was in physical abuse in my 20s for 4 years, and I'm blessed to be alive. It was a horror movie, but there is so much needed help out there, because some people are just staying in very, very bad relationships that they need to get out, but because of the anxiety, the fear, they're not getting out. So if you can touch more people, I know for a fact, because I experienced that 4 years and I couldn't get out. So, but
if you teach people how to interrupt,
I know a lot of people that. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if you teach people how to interrupt that automatic anxiety phenomenon, they actually might be able to get in there and repair relationships, repair communication, whatever. So So
oh my God, I love what you did, Dr. Bob. Yes, you remind me of my kinesiology and chiropractor when I did see. Yes, it's all connected, and it's so important. It's they need to, yes. So anxiety is huge. I just wanted to say that we need to touch that.
Really is. Right after pain from my posts that got the most traction, the very next topic was mental health. And so we want to address that in this group. Really, like I said, it's a great group here. I think most of you are aware of the Facebook group where I'm directing people today. Who knows, maybe your next client is in that group. Just get active with the group. So I've posted that link again. If you haven't participated in there, get in and participate.
Yeah, Armand, that can be a massive feeder for you, because people in chronic pain need to get out of it before they can come to get your benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just occurred to me. All right, we're at the top of the hour, and so I want to say goodbye to everybody. It's great to have you here. It's wonderful to communicate with all of you, and the discussion was very vibrant, so thank you all.
Joining us right now on our walk is my longtime friend, Dr. Greg Sanders, the founder of the Max Community, and I am a co-founder of the Max Community. Now, we're going to have Greg think how to help you visualize what the Max Community is, because you're out for a walk. We encourage that you're walking, maybe you're jogging, maybe you're on your way to the gym, we hope. But what we really want is to use theater of the mind so you can visualize what the Max Community is in your mind as you walk. And we want to make these podcasts. Podcast listening is so important. So you're not stuck on a long meeting. Dr. Greg, you were telling me a 3-hour meeting and that you were kind of tired from sitting. And I said, don't worry, we're gonna get you out and about and let you be wherever you are. So you can close your eyes and help people visualize, but really describe for people what is the Max Community and why did you develop it? Why was that so important to you, and why is it so important right now?
Well, thank you. Yeah, my spine's a little sore from sitting for 3 hours, but that's why we need to get up and move around from time to time, right?
Absolutely.
So, we all have connections in this life. We all have friendships and relationships. I think the Max Community is based on the assumption that you can uncritically move throughout life and just passively accept what comes to you, or you can make decisions to move in positive directions trying to maximize every opportunity, maximize your business, maximize your personal life. And you make different choices when you make that decision that you want to maximize life. And we start, I believe, with maximizing our connections and our relationships. So the Max community, for one thing, is an association of success-driven and success-focused business owners who have personal lives as well. So they want to maximize their health, their relationships, their travel plans, all that stuff. But they have a business that's a part of their overall life picture. And if it's true that our average success or average IQ is an average of the 5 people we hang around the most, then the Max community is a place where, for a lot of people, you can up your game. You can meet people who are perhaps at a higher level of experience, a higher level of passion in pursuing their maximum dream for their life, which then in turn helps you to level up what you want out of life and out of your business.
Well, I'm excited about raising my IQ by hanging out with people from Oxford University. I think that and AI, I expect to up my game, and I really want to be a peak performer in my own life. Now, we've all lost things in our life, for sure. The key is to understand we've all lost things, and that it's not about what you've lost, it's about what you have left and how to maximize what you have left. And as Steve Jobs talks about, and he said this to the Stanford University graduating class when he was the speaker. He said, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards from experience. And when you connect the dots as you move forward in your life, that makes all the difference. Now, you've had a lot of experiences with your background teaching at the university and teaching sociology. So you've learned a lot of different things about life, and things you eliminated and things you've added. And that's how you've constructed the Max community. So talk a little bit about connecting the dots in the Max community. You have CRMs, you have different things that you offer. Talk a little bit about that to help people visualize, and then we're going to explain to them how simply they can connect the dots with podcast listening just by going down below this video to connect the dots that you are talking about as we're out taking a walk together. So kind of explain the vision, maybe break it down step by step like you would to students.
All right. Well, everything is based on a system. So your routine for getting up in the morning, getting your breakfast, starting your day, it's based on habits, and those habits can either just naturally flow or you can change them, critically examine. It's all part of a recipe for life. And I would say that in the Max community, we have a very simple 3-part system: start, scale, and serve. Start. What do you want to start as an addition to something that you're currently doing? Growth in life is important. If you're not growing, you're moving the wrong direction. So part of growing is starting something. You always should be starting, improving, taking initiative in some area. So that's one of the things. And there are different aspects to starting, but the next one is scaling. Once something has started, you need to evaluate how it's going. You need to modify it if changes need to be made. You need to try to grow that. It's a little bit like starting a campfire. You get the flame going initially, but if you don't blow on that flame and grow that flame and have it start taking root with other logs, that flame's going to go out. So scaling is actually almost a preservation mechanism for keeping that initiative going, but obviously it's going to grow and develop. And then serve. Why are we doing this? The why should always relate to other people or things that you care about. So these initiatives that you're doing in your life probably serve your family, or they serve your grandkids, or they serve other business owners, or they serve society at large. And you need to keep that bigger mission in mind when you're starting and you're scaling something that matters.
Let me set the stage for a minute about your monetization systems by talking about the fact that I've been interacting with Oxford University about their narrative storytelling strategy. And it's about creating sustainable businesses, sustainable cities with narrative storytelling. And that's what we're doing today, right now. We're sharing stories, narrative stories about the Max community, about the monetization systems, and about really growing. And it can be using narrative storytelling to grow your life, grow your business, grow your family, grow your community, even grow your city. Now, Oxford has focused on a strategy to help create sustainable cities, but the strategy works. You know, it works if you're talking about individuals, if you're talking about communities. The key, though, what we can all come together on as a community, the common ground, is our incomes, right? We all need incomes, okay? And cities do, everybody does too. That's what America is built on. And so let's talk a little bit about the monetization systems that you have set up and built into the Max community so that people can have access to them, not just hear about them, but that's where we're bringing them to people with outreach business networking so we can help people connect the dots. So explain some of the components that you have built in for monetization to connect the dots.
All right. Well, two things. One is our Max affiliate superstore. So we have members in our community that provide incredibly valuable services and products. We, at kind of corporate headquarters, which is basically everything I'm doing, we provide products and services as well that in many cases help to connect all of the other ones. But we have created essentially a website that is a Max Affiliate Superstore, would take you there. And it is a place where all of the products and services of our members are arrayed. We are just starting it. We are just starting to build out that superstore, and we have some products there already. And in addition to finding available products and services, anyone in the world can go there and purchase things. One of the things we've done is that for members who join the Max community at our Max Pro paid level, which is very affordable, but there's a monthly fee, then they can purchase any of those products on the Superstore at a greatly reduced rate, sometimes 50% off or so. So it's like a buying club, but they also get affiliate links. So in terms of growing income, if they're in the business arena and they themselves need products and services, or they have connections to other businesses, maybe they want to get a CRM. So yes, the Max Pro CRM is a CRM that we recommend and that we support, and they can utilize that. But if they recommend and refer the Max Pro CRM to other members or other businesses, they will get an affiliate commission for doing so. The second big program that we have to help people monetize is the Starfish program. The Starfish program is not just any old app or another app. It is the competitive alternative to credit cards, debit cards, and cash payments when people are shopping. And it immediately puts instant cash back into people's pockets, usually more than credit cards are paying. And of course, it keeps people out of the credit card trap of debt. But when you look at how you have to pay for things in a store, you can pay cash, you can pay credit, you can pay debit. And the least understood method of paying for things is paying with a gift certificate. People know what a gift certificate is, but they tend to relegate that to birthdays and Christmas and special occasions where you give or you get a plastic gift certificate and then you go spend it. It's not considered as a primary method of payment. And that changed with the Starfish app. We now have about 600 major stores on the Starfish app that essentially is your own little store for gift certificates. It's as easy to use as paying for things with a credit card, but you get all the way up to 20% back when you're buying your stuff instead of 1 or 2% back. And so that's one thing. And, you know, if you share the app, you can be part of our revenue sharing, profit sharing community of this major payment platform. And I would say that's another thing that is a huge part of our community is that a lot of people have never heard of the Starfish payment platform. We're happy to tell them about that. Mike referred you or anyone referred you. Those people get the credit for making the introduction, and I would love to tell you about that particular platform.
Now, Greg, you offer so many things, and I'm going to give a testimonial here in a minute about Dr. Greg Sanders because I've been working with him literally for years. So he's become a very good, close, personal friend of mine. And testimonials are becoming more important in the age of AI, when there's going to be so much fakery, and that business networking is becoming more and more important, especially testimonials, to hear from somebody else that is not Dr. Greg Sanders, about Dr. Greg Sanders. But the other thing that I want to explore about the Starfish app is the training, the world-class training that comes with it in the community. So talk a little bit about that and how people can learn about their personal finances and motivation and all the leadership. There's such a powerful package that goes with it.
And before I do that, Mike, you've always been fantastic with these interviews. And portraying and shedding light on things. So thank you for that. Part of our friendship is that we feed on each other, all this energy. As an educator, a lifetime educator, I think I try to help people not just discover that something exists, but then learn how to deploy it and implement it correctly into their life or into their business workflow. So something like a CRM, that's a great example. I've always been a huge advocate of technology to add leverage to what people are doing, right? If you want to go from New York City to Los Angeles, there are a lot of ways to get there, but a skateboard is probably not the best way. You want to get the right vehicle to get you there. The same thing is true in the area of business. A lot of people just think that sending emails is the most efficient way to communicate with a business that you want to grow and scale. And that's not true. A business automation system, sometimes called a CRM, will enable you to send dozens or hundreds or thousands of emails with the same effort as sending one email, and to automate all the responses, to track and analyze who opens the email, who doesn't. It's kind of like having, being in the cockpit of an airplane and then seeing all these controls, and it takes a while to understand which buttons to push. And I think that that's one thing that I do. You have to start with simple, right? You show people, well, where's the stick shift on this thing? How do you make it move forward? Where's the brake? We can talk about all the fuel gauges and the temperature controls later. Let's just talk about how to make it go and stop. And so we have training for the CRM every week for people like yourself, Mike, that I know you've been on our training sessions a lot.
Absolutely.
Most people are not, it's not the language that most people are born with, the techies that has to do with CRM stuff. You mentioned finances. We actually just started a financial fitness course that's free to all Starfish members. It's probably worth a couple $100s a month, and we give it to our members for free. We're working through a curriculum that's called Financial Fitness, the offense, defense, and playing field of money. And it's all about applying financial principles. I mean, you can understand that you should pay yourself first, but until you have a savings plan and you're actively implementing it and you're saving back a portion of your earnings and not spending it all, you'll never really get ahead in your life and in your business. So I'm all about teaching, all about training, and helping people to start things, but then helping people to finish things.
Let me explain to people who are listening and walking that it's all about outreach. Now think about that. If you are not succeeding, and maybe you are outreaching, but you are either not outreaching to the right people, that's part of outreach, or you are outreaching, if you are reaching the right people and they're not responding, then you are not outreaching with the right message. And that's what narrative storytelling is all about, is reaching the right people with the right message. So what we want to do is we're going to continue this conversation as people walk, and I want to continue to provide valuable information as they are podcast listening. But you can connect the dots to reach all or part of what Greg is talking about below this video. Now, the way I look at it is like creating the right soup for your life. A carrot is not soup. It is a component. And what you need is the right things inside of that soup to make sure it's holistic, if you will, for your life or your business. You might be missing one thing. It might be a CRM. It might be one other thing. It might be training about something or other. But by connecting all of the dots, as Steve Jobs says, that makes all the difference. So that's the beauty of having a menu, that you can pick and choose from a menu. If you don't need something, fine, then you don't need it. But what we want to do is help you to understand by learning, and learning in a way that is healthy for you. So I strongly encourage you to be mobile. And if you do an interview with me, and I'm going to be interviewing, I've interviewed Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, I'm going to be interviewing world-class people from Oxford University about the narrative storytelling strategy. So we want to share that, and we want to help you to learn that, but we also want you to be able to learn it with podcast listening on the go. And we're going to be learning about AI. Are we ahead of the curve on AI? Are we behind the curve on AI? We want to network with people who are open to learning about it, especially AI business networking. And that's what we're concentrating on. But but some people are afraid of it, and some people want to embrace it. So we want to find out that and teach you that you can learn about AI without actually using it. You can just learn about it, and then you can decide over time. But it is a bullet train, and it is definitely coming. So Greg, final thoughts about how to connect with the dots below the video to the Max community, and some of the things that you are looking at and moving into with the Max community.
A lot of dots are connected for people. They can learn what our event schedule is, how they can potentially participate in our community, or at least give it a cursory overview before they decide if they would like to connect or not. So the website is one of those places. The Max Affiliate Superstore is another place where people can go and they can say, hey, I've got a product or service. Maybe I would like to have my product displayed in this manner to this community, and I would like to have an army of affiliates that are selling my product for me. That's an idea that I like. They could go to the Max Affiliate Superstore, and if they want to find out about Starfish, everybody ought to be using Starfish for buying their stuff, their groceries and their gas. I mean, who wouldn't want 6% back instead of 1 or 2% back when you're buying your materials? Time with me to find out more. And that's a great way to start connecting the dots, and maybe our lives will start intersecting from this point forward. And Mike, I just want to finish by thanking you for this opportunity to let people know about what I'm trying to do to give back to the world and to bring people together and help them maximize their businesses and their lives.
Okay, and I want to finish with I'm going to let you go. We're going to continue our podcast walking, learning about AI and even demonstrating AI and AI bots and talking about it and learning. But we're going to continue the walk. I want to, again, close with the testimonial. I think these are very, very important. I love giving testimonials for people. And I want to give a very, very strong testimonial personally to Dr. Greg Sanders. He's somebody I count on. He's somebody you can count on. And you can connect all of the dots to everything Greg Sanders is talking about right below this video. Click on the links that we've provided for more education and learning more about getting connected with me. And if you get connected with me, I'm going to be able to use AI to strengthen everything that we've talked about, really make it more powerful, and while we are integrating the dots. So we're going to continue moving forward. AI is really like a bullet train. We have to keep moving, but we want to keep educating you with podcast listening. So Dr. Greg Sanders, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, we'll continue our walk in just a moment. Okay, now as we walk, you can learn how to do a podcast and how to do a legal disclaimer for your podcast so that you can protect yourself. So here's mine. And this can be one that you can use as well. I got mine from Claude.ai. Here it is. The information and opinions expressed in this podcast are not intended to constitute professional advice or substitute for professional counseling. The host and guests are not responsible for any actions taken on the content of this podcast. Always consult a qualified professional before making any health, legal, financial, or other decisions. Do not disregard, avoid, or delay obtaining medical or health-related advice from a qualified healthcare provider because of something you heard on this podcast. Any statements made about podcasts, products, services, or trends have not been evaluated by any governing body and must not be relied upon without independent verification. The host and guests shall have neither liability nor responsibility to any person or entity with respect to any loss, damage, or injury caused or alleged to be caused directly or indirectly by the content expressed here in this show. All conversations are for informational and entertainment purposes only. Participation in this podcast does not create an expert client, advisor, advisee, or any other relationship between participants and the host. Any claims made cannot be guaranteed or warranted. Advertisements and sponsorships do not constitute endorsements or recommendations. Comparisons made are for illustration purposes only and cannot be relied upon. Results mentioned are not typical or guaranteed. The hosts and guests are not financial advisors, accountants, attorneys, or psychologists. All decisions made on this content are your responsibility. By listening and using this podcast, you accept disclaimers in full and agree not to hold the host, guests, or any contributors liable for any possible outcomes. Listen at your own discretion and always think critically. Some guests may be associated with products or services with which the host is affiliated and may receive commissions or other compensation. However, all conversations are for informational and entertainment purposes only. Well, wasn't that legalese fun and entertaining? Thanks for joining me. I'm Mike Hayes.